All right, people. So I'm back. This is just a quick update on the eg2, the Del Sol right-hand drive conversion. Um, this is pretty much where we're at right now, and I'm just gonna kind of briefly explain now that I'm starting on the actual car. Since I've broken down the clip itself, pulled the firewall out, as you've seen from the last vlog that I did, the last couple vlogs that I did, it's going to be in parts, more than likely. I had already, as you've seen, I had already had my engine pulled out because I want to do a rebuild on it. So I was gathering all my parts. So the engine bay was cleaned up, ready to go. It don't matter now because I'm pulling the firewall. Actually, my intentions weren't at first to go right hand. I mean, it was, but it was a hard enough time to find the clip. It took almost a year. So I just kind of gave up. But once I found the clip, all bets were off at that point. And this is where we're at now. But I just wanted to do a brief overview of the interior side and the wiring part and what's exactly going to happen in terms of making sure the wiring and everything is correct, just so you have an idea. Of course, there's a side of the drilling out spot welds and welding back up, pulling the firewall, things of that nature, but then there may be some questions about the wiring, and that's where I'm going to clarify exactly what I'm going to do. So just bear with me while I go back. I'm going to flip this camera real quick, and then I'm going to get right to it so I can show you exactly how I'm going to deal with the wiring, as everything is kind of already apart, and we'll go from there. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is where we're at with the Del Sol. See, let me pop this So as you can see, like I said, I already had my my engine bay cleaned and resprayed. It's a little dirty right now. It's been sitting for a bit, a couple months now, so dirt has found its way up under the cover, up under the car, and just got to get it cleaned up. But like I said, my intentions at first wasn't right hand, just because I couldn't find a clip. So this firewall all is going to get all dirty again and all grinded apart and this and that. So I'm gonna have to redo it anyway. So no big deal. You can see this is my right hand drive cross member down here, and obviously here's a left one here. Hold on, let me get this hood prop. So like I said, as you can see, that's where the steering column is right now, going into the firewall, and then this is where it will bolt up, and the steering column will actually go in here through the firewall that I'm going to put in, which is the right hand part. So just wanted to show you this part under the engine bay. As far as the car goes itself, and you got to excuse me as I'm just walking around with the phone, so excuse the shakiness. Just so you guys can see, I have pulled all the the dash out and everything. Everything was kind of loose already because I had was previously getting all the wiring stuff pulled out. So it was just a lot easier for me to deal with in that sense. Let me pull this out so I can show you. So what's going to happen, or pretty much how it is so this side of the wiring is just is the part that goes into this piece right here. This is what goes into my fuse box, and then these are the shock tower plugs, and then of course everything from there on is the wires that go into the engine bay to the headlights. As you can see, the plugs here. So what's going to happen, and then obviously I have my ECU wires here. So really, and this one here is my SRS bag. That's SRS components that for my airbag. So what's going to happen is the only thing that's left right now, and you guys excuse the sun, it's going to be kind of glary from time to time, just the way the sun is angled, but these are the only wires that come through, and they're the wires for the door. So ideally what's going to happen is I am going to unplug it from here, as they have, it's a plug that has the actual clip. It's just like any other plug like this. It has a side where you can clip it, where you can push it, and like this. It has a side, a little clip that you can push and it'll pull out. So obviously what's going to happen is this wire harness, since I need everything from that side put on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the wiring harness that come out of here, out of this door, and then all this is going to be loose now on this side, because I'll pull the wire harness through that goes to the door, that then powers the speakers and powers the switch, as well as powers the locks. And then what that's going to do is that's going to put, now that my passenger side is here, wiring wise, that's going to then put my these wires over there to the left side, which means that that side is going to be my passenger side. As you can see, the master controls are on the driver's side, as they should be, but I have ordered and I've already received the JDM right-hand drive master control, so I'll have the single one over here that I have here, and then I'll have that master one over there. It'll be put over here, and ideally it works out perfect, because the way Honda did it is they made one template for the controls. So they just have this big template just for this one switch, where the template over there is the same exact template, but with all the main switches for the most part. So everything will just switch over. So it was just perfect that they made one template, and then they just put the switches on each one, depending on if it was a left or right-hand drive car that they were building. So pretty smart on their part, as they could have probably just built a little small template or something like here, but then that would have meant that they would have had to do a whole bunch of extra parts just to make it smaller or something. So it was more perfect that way. So like I said, I've already received those. I will be pulling the wiring harness out, because there'll obviously be more wires that will run through the door to the switch, because the main controls will be over here. So not only will I unplug it here, but I will actually pull out the harness that runs up to all these three things: the speakers, the switch, and the lock, of course. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take it and I'm gonna install it into that door. Hopefully everything just kind of plugs and mounts back up, locks back up, which it should do. So that explains this wiring here. While I'm on this side, this wiring here for the headlights, it normally runs in and through the engine bay there on the side, as you normally can see. But what's going to happen is I'm going to have everything tucked. So this wiring is actually just going to run through my fender, and it's going to come out through the front side there. It's all going to be tucked. And the reason for that is I have a mil spec, a ride wire mil spec quick disconnect harness that actually has a sub harness that will bring all the wiring into the interior, into my dash. So I'll be able to tuck my fuse box and everything else here. I'm not gonna have air conditioning, so that's gonna free up a whole lot of space and cluster and messiness that's under the hood, as well as under the dash here. But I do have a mil spec quick disconnect. As you can see, this is where it was going to be mounted, as I just kind of took a couple cuts out because I had to shave a little bit on the sides to get the plugs to come through. But I do have a previous video of that harness there if you want to go back and check it out. I do have tuck line in interior brake line, so my hard lines are actually going to be removed. All my brake lines are going to be tucked. Everything possible that I can tuck, I'm tucking, so it just frees up and makes a really clean engine bay. To then explain the harness, there's a lot of stuff over here on this harness over here. Well, it's all one harness, but it's just it follows two on this side. I did get the full JDM harness from the clip itself, but what I did notice, why I don't want to use it and why I normally don't use the JDM clip harnesses if I have them in full, is due to the fact that we may have more emissions here. We have more things here that we need connections for. So I don't want to use the JDM harness and then something not work right after I get everything together. I'd be pissed because it's a whole cabin harness plus the obviously up into the dash. So I'd be pissed. So I really wouldn't prefer that you use that harness. Engine harnesses are a little bit different. You can kind of play around with those, but as far as the cabin harness, like all these boxes in the corner here that you see, I already started unplugging them. They're not on the JDM harness, and it's like, I know that stuff needs to be plugged in, needs to work for other things to work accordingly. I'm not 100% sure what each one of them is, but I just prefer to have all that stuff there, just the way it is. And if I don't personally hook something back up, then I mean, that's fine, but I'd hate to have something required and it's not on that harness, and then I have to go back and snatch out all the interior. Then it's just too much work. Just to then furtherly explain, these tabs, these mounting tabs and stuff, these tabs, I did drill them out, as this one is now going to be on that side, in that corner. And then this one here, I drilled out, and that one's now going to be on this side. And that one over there, it holds the, it holds that rusty bar that connects here along the dash, and it holds up your steering column. So those are necessary to be drilled out and put on the other side. And then come my hood latch, as I am gonna move it, I don't want to leave it over there. Bear with me. So as you can see, get this stuff out the way. Obviously, I'll disconnect the hood latch. I got the JDM version, one of it. It came in the clip. And as you can see, if you can see it, there are two little metal nipples that kind of pop out and protrude out of the metal. And that was kind of a guide where they needed to actually weld this mounting piece here. So I'll try to get closer just so you can see those two metal like nipples that are coming out right there in the middle of the picture there. So what happens is I'll drill those out, which is the mount for the hood latch. And let's show you, voila. Here they go right here, 1 and 2. So it makes it easier for me to match that up on that side, so I know exactly where to put my hood latch. And run it on this side. My gas pop locker, I have that as well with the cables. I may or may not change it. If I want to try to be as official as I can, I will move it, as the screw to mount that is actually right here. So the two screws to mount it are actually the ones right here. Honda themselves, and I'm assuming anybody that makes left and right hand drive cars, they generally try to make just one unibody or one body, and they'll just put the holes on each side just in case they need it. And the ones they don't use on the opposite side, they're just holes that are there that are tapped and drilled. That way they're not making two different bodies just because it's left and right hand drive. And that goes for the firewall. Like I said, I could take the firewall out and drop in the right hand drive one, and now the car is right hand drive and just got to be welded back up. So like I said, I may go ahead and change that, as it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because the cable just runs right here into this area. And at that point back there, all I gotta do is pop the trunk and pull off the side interior panels inside the trunk, and I should be able to have access to the lid, because to be honest with you, it's right here, so I probably don't even have to do that. But probably just to have a little bit extra space, I can pop the trunk and have easier access. But it's already right here. The door, I mean the gas latch, because that's what it is. It's not the trunk popper, it's just the gas latch. I don't know if I'm gonna do the conversion for to pop the trunk or not, as I think that was in the 95 spec. So that's pretty much there at that I'll decide if I want to put it on the right. And then come the main part of the engine harness, as you can see, there's no engine harness that runs along this side, like this one, this big black one that you see running along here with the brown clips, that's the harness that then runs up and kind of bundles all into this here. So ideally what's going to happen is, like these boxes and all this stuff here, these grounds and whatnot, I'm going to leave those all plugged in but probably right at about this point, or maybe at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snip it right at that point, all that wiring. And what I'm going to do is I am going to extend it and run it all the way down this with this tube here of wires. And then I'm just going to route it accordingly right here. And as you can see, these holes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are these same holes here. Where that brown clip is, that's where that goes. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 that's connected with that big black cover there. So when I extend it 4 to 5 feet, I'm just gonna run it across here, and then I'm gonna just run it this way, and now I'm gonna have all that stuff over there, over here in this right corner here. So ideally, that's pretty much what's gonna happen with the wire harness itself. Just in case you guys were wondering how this actually works, it's pretty similar to the EGs, as this is an EG. Whether it's a coupe or a hatchback, it doesn't matter. They're all similar in the sense. And the Integra, the DC as well, they're all similar. So that's gonna be pretty much that. There are a few things that I will have to drill out and weld back up, like this bracket. You guys gotta excuse the sun. This bracket piece right here holds my SRS computer module, so I'll have to drill that out and weld it in. But there's this little detail that you have to pay attention to know if it's something that was on the right-hand drive clip that's not gonna be on the US side, or vice versa on the US side but not on the JDM clip. So you just need to pay attention to what stuff you may need to bring over. Like I said, I'll do my best to try to document the things that I will be doing, but thus far this was just pretty much taking all the interior out, and there's plenty of videos on how to remove the interior, so I didn't want to waste a whole lot of video time there. But this was I think was a crucial, important part to make sure you guys knew as far as the switches go over there and exactly how I was going to deal with the doors. So, and this time I'm going to pop out these pieces here, and I'll give you an update video after I've popped these out, and then we shall go from there. Once I get that out, then I'll be able to get this sound deadening out, and then I will continue on. I will get the car jacked up, pull the wheels off, drop my cross member, and then go on and get the spot welds drilled out, so then that way I can cut this firewall out at its areas where I need to cut it. The rest will just be drilled out and separated, and that will be it. And slowly but surely I will become right hand. So until the next video update, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, any comments, good or bad, please don't hesitate to reach out and speak below. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to follow the build. You don't have to. But of course, is this your first video coming in on this right-hand drive conversion for my Del Sol, then I suggest that you do subscribe, so you can see the video process of this build, as I'm going to do my best to try to replace everything that I possibly can, as parts are hard to get for this vehicle. The car is almost 30 years old, so it is difficult. So when I do come across parts, especially brand new ones, I just go in and pay the money. I don't worry about the cost in the sense. I mean, I won't do anything ridiculous, but I try to buy it if it's within my reach, because I know it's just going to get harder and harder as time passes. So, especially when it comes to the roof seals and things of that nature because of the leaking. But my set of seals are actually still pretty good, and I've actually found some brand new ones that I've purchased that I'll just have kind of sitting around waiting just in case I need them. But until the next video, and you can definitely also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, JDMEK100. Again, that's JDMEK100. And then you can just request to follow me there, and you can see all the updates and pics. And then I actually do update pics to the postings for YouTube as well. But if you just follow me and subscribe on YouTube, then you don't have to worry about me posting anything on Instagram as far as a YouTube video is concerned. But until the next video, people, I will holler at you later. Peace out. Okay, so just so you guys can see how this how you take this off, Those two tabs that are there, this tab here, you just lift it, and as you see, it lifts and then it pulls out. There's actually going to be two of them. The one at the top there, right in the middle of the video, as you can see, and then you have the one at the bottom. And then what happens is those two plugs pull out, and then that's when you just go ahead and you push it, and then you end up pulling it through here, and it goes through the side of the support beam right here on the side of the car. And that's how I will get the harness to loosen itself up so I can pull it all back. That was just a little update on how you pull apart the door without cutting the wires or anything like that. And as you can see, this is it. And then this is what it looks like plugged in. So as you can see, there is a use for both plugs as they have the prongs there. But that is pretty much it. And what's crazy to me is while this is covered, the grease has been sitting in here for the better part of almost 30 years, and it's still grease. So like I said, I just wanted to show you guys how this comes apart. So like I said, now all I have to do is, of course, just pull this tab. And then all I have to do is now push this through. And that's that. And now that has pulled out. So of course, I'm gonna cover this. Probably get a Ziploc bag to cover it so the grease can stay good. And now this part of the harness can go back there. So now I have no more wiring that now runs on this side. So now you know how to unplug the door if you didn't know. Very simple. You probably would have figured it out. But I can assume some people probably would have cut the wires or something like that, but there are little plugs. I will then now take this out and out of the door. And then, like I said, I'll move it over to that side. And that will be it. I don't generally see there being a problem. Because looking at that, that's probably how it's going to be the actual template or holder for it. That's how it'll probably be on the other side. So I don't see why this wouldn't fit there. So I'll just have to figure out how to pop this off so I can pull it through. And I'll probably have to clamp them back together. I'll have to see how it's in here. But either way, it doesn't matter. I will work it out or figure it out. It got put in here, so I know there's a way to get it out or unplug it. So until my next update video, I will speak with you people later.